time for yet another character request, and we're going right back to the Fairly Odd Parents world in the universe, and we have a character request for Chester McBadbat for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and I think he has a good place in this game too. And not even just Timmy Turner. I know a lot of people want to see Timmy and Cosmo and Wanda, his fairy godparents, along with him. I think he should come out with them and be bundled with them. I don't see how he can be able to fight without the fairy godparents. But Chester is one of Timmy's best friends. Why not have him included into this game? And he's not a very known character, because when you think of Fairly Odd Parents is, you don't think about Chester. You don't even think about anybody within his circle. AJ, who was his other best friend. And things were different for Chester McBadbat. And the reason why he got this name, McBadbat, is because his dad is the worst baseball player in the world, and that's what he's known as. And Chester, I think this particular episode I'm going to be referencing a lot. The foul ball episode really stood out for me when coming up with character ideas and a moveset for him. And just looking at the stages, the Loud House is the closest resemblance that's in this game that I came up with for a stage for him. So I'm going to get into it, load it up. I picked two separate characters, Lincoln Loud and Helga, to display for this particular video today.
Lincoln Loud versus
because they have something similar to baseball, something with a baseball bat, and Lincoln Loud has.
3, 2, 1, go!
See, we're gonna wait. We didn't get to the moveset yet, so we're just gonna talk about that later. But these two characters, I think that Chester McBadbat can really sort of play like, in a way, not with just Helga's counterattack, but Lincoln has a baseball bat and actually uses it for some kind of offense. So I think that could be something implemented for Chester McBadbat, for him to be a fighter, a potential DLC from Fairly Odd Parents. So not just Timmy Turner, Chester McBadbat can have a place in this game. So we're going to start with stages. And I came up with this stage and selected it because a location where Chester lives is Happy Trails Trailer Park. And I can just, when you come down here into the Loud House, you can really visually see some of the things that could be added into the stage for Happy Trails Trailer Park, because that's where he lived. That's where he resided in, for him and his family. For Happy Trails Trailer Park being a nice little stage that they can get to come out with Chester. And I went as far as adding a different stage from the episode Foul Ball, the Foul Ball episode, where you can see the Bankee. It was supposed to be like something similar to another version or a different team of the New York Yankees. But in Fairly Odd Parents, it's called the Bankee Stadium, and that's where they played in this particular episode, where Chester became one of the best, if not the best, baseball player, because Timmy wished for that. He wished for him to be the best, be the greatest baseball player in the world, and to help his team out, which was called the Losers. The Dimmsdale Losers team, or the Dimmsdale Losers baseball team, went and go all the way into the championship and beat the Bankees at the Bankee Stadium. So I'm getting all this from that one episode, and that's how I really came up with some of these ideas. So I thought that would be a cool little stage, because baseball is his thing. Baseball was what he's all about, and how he got his name in the first place. So why not, if they can't get his hometown or the area he lives in, Happy Trails Trailer Park, they can just come out with the Bankee Stadium and we can all fight there, and that'll be a nice stage to be included with him. So those are the two stages I came up with for Chester McBadbat. So the baseball stadium itself at the Bankee Stadium, and you can battle it out at Happy Trails Trailer Park. But now, so alternate costumes, I did some digging. I came up with Matter Muncher Lab, which was his superhero costume. I think that'll be really awesome as paid DLC for Chester. And with this particular hero, he was able to munch and drill through things with his teeth. And with his braces, he had drills in his teeth to be able to munch his way through everything. And he would say, munch, 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 munch. If you guys remember the episode, it was called the Big Superhero Wish episode. So I referenced that for a little nice alternate costume for DLC. And then going back to the Dimmsdale Losers baseball team, I came up with his jersey. as a nice little alternate costume that could be paid DLC for him. So I put Dimmsdale Losers baseball jersey so that the player can purchase, he or she can purchase the Dimmsdale Losers jersey off the shop, or have it paid DLC to be included with him, all into one package. And just again, that's from the Foul Ball episode where you can see them all dressed up in their jerseys for the Dimmsdale Losers baseball team, trying to win the games. And at first they would always lose. They would always lose to anyone. It didn't even matter which kind of team it was. Even if the most inexperienced team would still be able to beat them in the show from that particular episode. So I think that'll be a cool little alternate costume. And then I was gonna say his legend of a baseball player, but Chester can rock his paper bag, similar to how his Mr. McBadbat can wear in the show, and where he wears in the show throughout any episode where you see him. If he has a scene or any sort of dialogue, you can see him wearing that bag over his head. So I thought Chester with a paper bag over his head could be another additional alternative costume, and I think that could probably be the easiest one instead of just getting that superhero. I think out of all the ones, out of the two costumes that I mentioned, the paper bag will probably be the easiest alternate costume for them, because all they got to do is put a paper bag over his head and just wear it and show his eyes. So I think that'll be easier for the developers. But those other skins, Matter Muncher and his Dimmsdale Losers baseball jersey outfit, those would be really cool, iconic outfits for him to represent who he is and for his love for baseball. So now for some winning animations. See how he does this? His little taunts. But I couldn't come up with any taunts for him, but I came up with some animations for him. So I came up with a baseball game-winning pose that he did in the Foul Ball episode after he stole all three of the bases with his super speed, because once Timmy gave him the wish of being the greatest baseball player in the world, he was fast. He was able to see any baseball being thrown, and to really be able to pick up on. He even gained baseball senses. So I thought this would be something cool for a little winning animation when he gets the dub and wins a match. He can do that baseball game winning pose after when the crowd was carrying him. He can just be sitting on the screen, just relaxing, posing with the baseball or something like that. So I think that'll be something dope to include for his animations. And then another one I came up with is when they were dominating the Bankees at the Bankee Stadium in the same episode, he was spinning the baseball with one foot, and then he had the baseball being spun with one of his index fingers in the show. So I thought that'd be a cool, amazing animation to take from the show. And could they potentially be a little bit of the taunts where he can just stand there, just be right there spinning the baseball bat and the ball itself? That'll be really cool. I think that can also be a potential taunt. It's quick and easy, but I thought it was something a little bit unique. See, I'm playing on PS5, you hold the L1 button, it won't do anything, but for Chester, he can have a unique taunt ability where the longer you hold the taunt button, he can continuously spin the baseball and the baseball bat. See what I'm saying? So that'll be something that that'll be awesome to see implemented. Even though it's not a winning animation, even if it's not a winning animation, it could be a taunt that I think a lot of people really enjoy doing, just to have some fun against the opponent, having fun with their friends in the lobby, a full lobby of Chesters just doing it, just to have fun, have a blast, take a little group picture or something like that, posing, spinning the baseball and the baseball bat itself. So that's what I came up with for his animations, and maybe like a potential taunt if it does become one. But now we're gonna start talking about his moveset. So just to wrap up, I always do the moveset last. So I used this particular episode to really reference it. See, it's funny because it's a baseball right here in the window, top left, right there, right here. You can see a baseball and a basketball. Lincoln Lau has a baseball bat that you can just press with the strong attack button easily. And I thought this is going to be a cool little implementation for Chester and how he can play. He can have his own baseball bat, but he's going to be using it way more than just a regular strong attack. He's going to be using it from one of his main offensive it's going to be his main weapon, how he creates offense, how he gets a little bit of damage on, and how he inflicts damage on the opponent. See how Lincoln Loud uses a yo-yo? Chester McBadbat is going to be using that baseball bat to do some deadly damage. So he can do something like that with it. But let's get into his movesets that I came up with. So with Chester being known as the worst baseball player in the show, and with his dad, and the name McBadbat name is someone he's looking to redeem. They can add him into the game. They can just be like, well, Chester McBadbat makes his way into Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl to redeem the McBadbat name. See, and that'll be really cool for them to say, like for a little showcase or a spotlight for him. So why not have him redeem the name of the McBadbat name with a bat of his own, and being able to inflict some damage against the opponent and get the win. Since he's always been losing, and they're always so used to losing, he can get some wins in this game and really redeem himself. Because he talks about it in the show. He even says it he even says it in the episode itself about redeeming the name and becoming a good baseball player, so he can make his father proud, Mr. McBadbat, and redeem the family name. So I thought that'll be really awesome for him to get in here. So let's start talking about what he can do. So I came up with home run, like a strong swing with the baseball bat, causing it to quickly spin in the 360. I referenced that from the show, from the episode Foul Ball. So that's all my ideas coming from that particular episode, for all the things I came up with for him, for this character idea. When Timmy gave him the wish of being the greatest baseball player in the world, they threw the ball, and once he gained these abilities and this superpower, this amazing ability of being the greatest baseball player, he swung. He hit the ball so hard, he knocked it off the face of the earth into a satellite, into space. So that could be a unique, strong baseball move. Even though Lincoln Loud just swings, he can have his own little super powerful home run swing with the baseball bat. And each time he swings, he spins in the little 360. The player cannot spam it, of course, so he's going to be vulnerable if he misses. But he'll be able to spin and rotate in a little 360 in motion. So I came up with that for one of his attacks, called home run. The next one I came up with was called strikeout, and try to do some little baseball name references, baseball terms and all. Strikeout, where Chester can use his very bad pitching skills as a projectile by throwing a baseball. See, imagine this little baseball. They can do something similar to this. Lincoln Loud doesn't have a projectile. He uses a water gun. Oh, yes, he does, but actually just a spinning top. I almost forgot. That was Lucy Law, who doesn't have one. But see, he has a little spinning top. See, and Chester can throw a baseball. That'll be pretty cool. He can just throw like little baseballs at the opponent, and maybe he can charge it. He can charge it up, and then it could be slow. It could be slow moving towards the opponent, going across the screen in a horizontal motion. But the player can charge up the baseball, and then the longer he or she charges it, he can throw a fastball. So strikeout can become a fastball. See, that would be really cool to see and see them implement. So at first it's just a slow pitch, just to try to psych out the opponent, and then once you charge up the baseball, you can charge up the baseball throw, and you pitch it at the opponent. It can become a fastball and really just be able to launch the opponent. So I came up with that as well. So we make that chargeable. A baseball slide I came up with for a running attack that could potentially launch the opponent. See how he was like a bike, or he uses a scooter in the air, but he uses a bike. So that can be like a running baseball slide. It almost similar to how April does that little dive kick. Not a dive kick, but just the light attack with her tripping attack. With her two legs, it could be some kind of running baseball slide, and it makes me think a little bit like of Helga's running attack. She brings out the baseball glove, and she has the baseball inside her hand, like she's running and doing a running dive. It could have something similar to that, but it could be a baseball slide instead. So like as if he's trying to get to first base. They can call it first base, something like that. For if it's not just a regular base, it can be a baseball slide, but they can just name it first base. It can be a running attack for him. Now, another move I came up with, I would reference his Matter Muncher lad costume, or his superhero outfit, with his ability to munch through everything, being the Muncher. He said munch, munch, munch. So I came up with something called Munch. So Chester could have his own unique bite attack similar to Lucy Loud. And I think this will be a good reference for the developers, so they can use the superhero name Matter Muncher, and it'll be something that he can say for a voice like Munch. But he probably wouldn't have to say anything with it, but munch, 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 munch. Probably just do a series of bites, or maybe it just be one single bite, similar to Lucy Loud. So munch. So it can just be like a light attack for a munch, quick little bite of the opponent. Now, almost wrapping up. See, I can't control Helga, but she does like a counter. And I came up with this move, and I call it a bunt, because when in baseball, the player can bunt the ball, where they can just they can attempt to tap the baseball when it's coming at them. And I think Chester can use a bunt move with his baseball and hold the baseball bat out in front of him and protect himself from incoming projectiles for a short period of time. So when he does it, see, let's jump down here. See, this is just a spinning top. But just with Helga, since I'm not playing as her, he can do something like that similarly. It's not a counter attack, but he can just have the baseball in front of him to bunt the projectile, and it can bounce right off of it and reflect back towards the opponent. So that'll be really unique to see. See yet another baseball move, a baseball turn utilized for Chester McBadbat's offense for a bunt attack to protect himself from incoming projectiles. So he doesn't even really have to block. He can just use his bunt attack and bunt ability to be able to stop those projectiles. And last but not least, I came up with something called Fly Ball, or maybe Fly Chester. And I thought of him jumping high into the air from the episode when he went to catch the ball, and when he had those superpowers and he had those baseball senses, he knew the ball was in the air. He said, fly ball, baseball senses. He was going crazy. He could sense the baseball in the air, and he just was able to jump up really high and grab it. So I thought that could be a cool little recovery move. And he can jump high into the air, and maybe with a baseball glove on, as if he's trying to catch a ball. But they can call it fly ball, so you can use it as his ability. See how Nickelodeon does this? You can do something like that with baseball animation, a baseball glove or something like that. Or that same high jump animation that he does in the episode when he catches the fly ball. That could be like his recovery move. So that's what I came up with him. I don't know what you guys think, but I really think that he deserves a spot in this game just as much as Timmy does. And I know a lot more people, of course I want Timmy Turner over Chester any day, but Chester McBadbat can be his own character and his own little spotlight to get some good offense in. Smacking people with a baseball bat. Oh! That's what we say, whoa! It's fun. But see, he can there's so many things that he can do in this game with the baseball bat, and he can redeem the family name of being a McBadbat and being able to win matches and use his skills with the baseball bat to inflict some damage on the opponent. Curious to see what you guys think about this character idea, and I hope you guys enjoyed this request video. But it's so many characters they can really take from the Fairly Odd Parents universe. Even though Chester did not have Fairly Odd Parents, I think he should have had his own, me personally, just to wrap up. But it sucks that he didn't. But he's still a good character that I think could be a good little addition to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.